This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the annual meeting here on February 1st, 2022. We'll go ahead and do the roll.
Jeff Joyner,
Here.
David Rowley,
Here.
Jeff Lord is absent, Craig Galvesman,
Here.
Tom Romeo,
Here.
Tricia Kennedy is absent, Cheryl Robinson is absent, Andrew Marietta.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we have a quorum. We will move forward. We are today going to go through and do the reorganization of the agency. Why don't we go through and we've got the schedule, the confirmation. We want to make sure that we're all aligned, that this meeting will be on the fourth Thursday of every month at 8 a.m. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we don't need to take a motion for that.
No.
No, I didn't think so. All right, let's go ahead. Election of the officers for the agency. Need a nomination for the chair.
I nominate Jeff Joyner. Second that.
First and second. Will I accept? Yes, I will. All right, any other nominations? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, vice chair. Any nominations?
Dave Rowland.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other nominations? All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? All right. See, Dave, I didn't even ask you if you would accept. All right. Now we're looking for nominations for treasurer.
I would nominate Jeff Lord. I would second that.
Second that. Any other nominations from the floor? All right. All in favor of Jeff Lord as treasurer of the IDA?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good morning, Patricia. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're just going through the election of the officers for the agency.
Okay, great.
All right. And now the final position for secretary. Do we have any nominations?
I would nominate Tom Armeo. Oh, don't do that. Craig Galvesman.
Thank you. All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second that. Craig, are you willing to serve?
Okay, sit your way.
Yeah. Yes, sorry.
Yep. All right. Any other nominations? All in favor of Craig serving as secretary?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, Craig.
All right. We will now go
Thank
through we have the appointment of the chief operating officer and agency staff, Jody and Megan.
We need a motion for that?
We could just do a motion at the end if you guys want to just
Yep.
go through these, if you want to change anything.
Yeah, let's go through and do that and make it one motion.
Yep.
Any concerns? Appointment of an auditing firm? Any concerns?
No.
Appointment of the agency counsel? Any concerns? Appointment of the bond counsel to the agency? Appointment of the bank of the agency and accounts and community bank? Any concerns? And there's a whole list there on the second page of all the different accounts. We'll now move down to number 8, approval and confirmation of agency policies. We got the uniform tax exemption policy, the investment policy, procurement policy, and the Public Authority Accountability Act policies. And then we have the appointment of the contract officer, which is Jody. Appointment of the investment officer. All right, we will stop there. Can I get a motion to approve all of those appointments?
So moved.
I get a second?
Tom.
Tom, any further discussion? If not, all in favor of those appointments?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, those are all then duly elected and appointed. All right, let's go into the Audit and Finance Committee. Looking for a nomination for the chair.
Hey, he's not here. So vice chair, I guess, right?
Can
Can we do all of them?
Yeah.
at the same
Can we do
time?
them all at the same time?
Yeah, I would make a motion.
Yeah, perfect.
That we appoint Jeff Fuller chair,
Yeah.
Craig Gelsman vice chair, and.
Right now you have Patricia and Andrew are members.
Right, and Patricia Kennedy and Andrew Marietta as
That's
members.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. All in favor of those appointments?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We'll now go to the Project Oversight Committee.
So right now Cheryl's the chair, Tom is the vice chair, and Patricia and Andrew are both members.
It's okay with me. I'll second that motion from Tom to reappoint.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of those appointments to the Project Committee?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We'll now move down to the Governance Committee. Megan, you want to tell us the
Yeah, so
standing?
Andrew is the chair right now, Dave Rowley is the vice chair, and Tom and Cheryl are both members.
All right. Can we get a motion?
So.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of the appointment to the Governance Committee?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right. Designation of newspaper, the Oneonta Daily Star was the final issue. Any concerns? Can we get a motion?
So move.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right. That is complete. So can I get a motion to adjourn the annual meeting for the IDA?
So move.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will now move into the Audit and Finance Committee meeting. Jeff is not here today, so that would go to you, Craig, as the vice chair.
Sorry, that's where I thought we were earlier. I will forego Jeff's comments and look for approval for the minutes of the committee meeting. Or
I'll make
last.
that.
Yep. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't have the agenda in front of me. Is there anything else with bills to be paid? I know there's that.
Bills are next. Mostly normal operating expenses. There is a expense department, thank you, for the EDA grant admin that they're doing. You'll see insurance costs on there. That'll probably be the largest one, and then they'll start to go down for insurance. And I believe that's it. Oh, we do have the MRB group on there for the RISE application that they're doing. And there's also an OCCRC expense there for that. And then if you look at deposits, just rent and loan payment. And then we did get the final county micro admin fees for the micro enterprise program. We also got some partial pilot fees from Zayed Properties or Simple Integrity. And that's it.
Any questions?
Yeah, quickly, Greg, Philadelphia Insurance, it covers all properties?
Yes.
Is that it?
Then we just got the review of the financials.
Financials, yep. Any questions? Anything else, Jody or Megan?
To pay bills?
A motion to pay the
Oh,
bill.
yes, we had a
Oh,
motion.
yeah, motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Dave.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So now review of financials.
Yeah, I got it in
Jody.
front of me now. Jody,
Yeah, to clarify, if you look at my sheet, it'll break down the insurance payments for property insurance, 4,000, nonprofit public authorities, sure, it's 7,000. So it'll be there.
Okay, great, thanks.
Basically, as in the first quarter of every year that we have, we're a little behind in income versus expenses. We caught up sometimes. Better shape. January of 2021. Really nothing out of the ordinary. And we did have an unanticipated income from the last pilot payment that we went through on the checks from Josh's firm.
What is that? Is that officially simple integrity? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got like 2 or 3 different names for it.
Right. Yeah, simple integrity.
Yeah, the check wasn't from Simple Integrity, yes, but it's for Zion.
Just clarification.
The just looking under the page 3 soccer field maintenance, Richfield, 2.4 million.
That,
Where?
Under utilities and maintenance.
yeah, that was what we had budgeted last year, and that was actually the construction cost.
Okay.
This year, we've broken it down just to, on the last page, it'll say Richfield Springs Industrial Park, 2.4 million.
Okay.
That's not for soccer fields, that's temporary. It makes it industrial.
Last year, we
Yeah, right.
just put it in there.
Industrial park development. Right.
Last year, we
Okay.
broke it down.
I just saw soccer field maintenance. I was like, whoa. All right.
I want that job.
Better classification. Okay.
So we'll talk a little bit more about Richfield.
Is that it, Jody?
So we'll talk about Richfield Springs project when we do the projects committee.
Okay. Okay.
We have a small, I should sit over there.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Nothing else, Craig.
Okay, good. We can move on. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
You don't
adjourn.
need to. You don't have to, but you don't have to. Doesn't mean anything. But if you want to, go ahead.
Thank you, Craig.
All right. So now we're moving into the projects committee, and Cheryl's not here today. So Tom.
Okay, once again, we'll forego the chairman's comments and ask for approval of the January 13 projects committee minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Jody, project tracker reviews.
I guess we'll start with the Richfield Springs. It's sort of nice having brought on Barton and Judas to work with us on this, because they've actually reached out to all parties. My understanding is I did talk to our attorney, Kurt, and they are finalizing the documents for the water and sewer agreements between the town, the IDA, and the county. I guess there's nothing unexpected there. We did actually have some communication from Andela that she is closing and moving out her Utica facility. She's looking for a place to store the equipment right now until she can be ready to build her building. And she still looks at planning on going ahead with this. One of the other things, we've been in contact with Empire State Development regarding the schedule. Because they called to confirm the schedule because they're also working with Andela on her reschedule for when her grant will be available. What's nice is that Barton and Judas has been in contact with our engineering firm that we've been using out of Binghamton.
Keystone.
And they actually revised a schedule, which is going to bid sometime probably in March, awarding contracts in June, going to construction in July. And then they're looking at probably another whole year, May or June, July, somewhere in that time frame to complete construction. We sent that to in our last quarterly report to the Economic Development Administration, and they did not tell us that. So we're aware that the schedule is moving. We indicated that once we have a real firm schedule, we'll be back to them with a request to amend the contract for that change in timeframe. And that seemed to be really positive. The other thing that happened was, Tom asked me how my day was. And I said, well, yesterday was pretty crummy. We've been dealing with NYSEG. I've been talking to them now for 4 or 5 months, once we had a publication that the county was giving us a loan of $600,000. They actually called us and said, we have to bring this to the Public Service Commission. I said, fine, bring it. We've already doing that. Well, yesterday I got an email from Barton LaJudas asking us to fill out a request for a extension, a line for gas and electric. I'm like,
In Richfield?
yeah. So I filled it out, sent it in, and then one of NYSEG's, our contact person, Melanie, emailed us and say, well, no, you have to actually, we have to have your gas loads and we have to, we have to size this. And I said, that's all been done. It's just that 3 of their project managers over the last 2 years have left. And so it gets always pushed on somebody else who doesn't know what the history of this whole thing. So we sent them all the emails that confirmed that they actually sized it. They actually gave us a cost estimate for construction for these lines. And the response was, well, that's 2.5 years ago, but we have to revise those numbers. And we won't be able to actually, we won't be actually able to run the lines until Andela goes into construction. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because she can't build a building not knowing that she's going to get approval for a gas line. And if you don't approach the Public Service Commission before that, she's not going to build. And I said, we're paying for it anyway out of the grant. So what difference does it make if you go to the Public Service Commission? Because we'll pay for the line to be installed, even if nobody uses it. So that's the dilemma we're in. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Who's the next person up the line above the person that you talked to? That NYSEG.
Well, my concern with Public Service Commission, Seward used to have some influence with people that he knew there. Of course, that may not work anymore, but to me, it's got to be part of the government side of it to nudge NYSEG to decide to do it. They're looking at spending money without getting immediate return because they're not going to be selling gas, although we're paying for it, so they're not spending money.
Right.
They're being paid to install a pipe.
Right.
I mean, I don't understand the risk. Why? But the Public Service Commission, somebody government's got to lean on them.
And the last project manager who was really working on this says, well, if your contractor wants to install the line, that would probably be cheaper than having us do it. So
No doubt.
it's like, well, it's not, it doesn't cost him anything.
The other point is you install water and sewer lines, correct?
Yes.
And then a year later, 6 months later, they go back through and they tear up the surfaces to put in the gas.
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense at all.
The
And the answer to your first question, I don't know, because so many project managers have left. All the people that, when we had our meetings here with NYSEG, I'd say 85% of those people have moved on to different functions.
Well, time, yeah, people matriculate, sure. The company where you have, that's helping us manage that, do they have any connections in engineering or with anyone to help grease the skids and get this done, or is that ours to handle?
Well, I'm going to reach out to Barton LaJudas.
Yeah, I mean,
and say,
to me, it's really, they ought to fix the mess.
right.
They-
It's just that I had all the history in my
Right.
emails, so it was easier for me to respond to NYSEG.
Yeah. You clearly want to do the construction at the same time.
And if they're being paid to do it, it does, I mean, once again, I don't understand why our contractor can't do it. I mean, they can expect it, something we have to watch.
So that was my frustrating day yesterday.
Okay.
But other than that, the project actually is moving ahead very well. And I'm sure we're going to get over this NYSEG issue. Regarding the rail yard, really not too much has happened on that since last time we talked. I did reach out to both of our attorneys to see if we can use a realtor to market our properties. I haven't heard back from Joe. And Kurt said that he was gonna look into it. He didn't see any reason why we couldn't, so he doesn't know where that came up before. And then we've had a series of discussions with the MRB group that we hired regarding the Innovation Acceleration Center, on whether to purchase an existing building or buy a building. And apparently part of my report team, I sent you the wrong report. There was a whole series of questions that they raised. Oh, that's on my director's report. One of them being that if you buy an existing building, the big concern right now is that does the entire building have to be used as an innovation acceleration center? Or can we lease out other floors that are not part of the center in order to generate revenue? And we need to know that answer before we can really proceed. So actually the MRB group, while they've done some work on it, have put a hold on it until we have a more definitive answer from the USDA. They don't want to waste money if in fact we don't go ahead.
Is there a timeline in getting an answer?
The person that we're dealing with from the USDA is out of the Syracuse office. She's the state contact person, but she doesn't know any of the answers. She has to go to people in Washington. We're hoping to get an answer within a week if they've had the questions for over a week. So hopefully by the end of next week we'll have.
So if we're purchasing a building, we want to make sure we still got an excellent purchase price. Long-term investment, obviously.
Yes.
Is it this building or a building?
This building is on the list.
No.
I know that the owner is having the building reappraised right now because we would need an appraisal for the grant application.
Well, okay, make sure he compares it to buildings in small towns, not Syracuse and all.
That could also apply to building a building, that you could end up in a situation where you didn't need the totality of the space in a new building, that you then would have retail space to rent out. So that answer is pretty important.
Well, retail or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so an additional source of income is kind of one of those things we talked about. Be nice to end up there at some. So being limited to what we could do or what we could use seems like something we should not want. We should avoid.
Well, yeah, because the answer is no.
Yeah.
And you're not buying a building that has capacity you need if you can't, you know, rent out the space. Obviously.
Right.
Okay, great.
So that's really the updates on the project trackers.
Okay.
At the present time, I am working on one for the Innovation Acceleration Center. That one is a lot more complicated to put together because it's a constantly changing project.
Just a quick question on the hemp discussion. Has there been anything new on that at all? Commercial hemp operation? The hemp operation?
My understanding is that it's still moving. There's still some dialogue on that.
Okay.
But that nobody's approached me on it in probably 3 or 4 months.
And I don't think you've gotten properly excited about it. So anyway, it's okay. Question about custom electronics access. Is that everything mature coming? I mean, they're still.
There is still some friction between the two.
Well, they're competitors. That's normal.
They both agreed. We did send them out the memorandum of understanding on the grant application that we require. Hartwick, Custom Electronics, and IOPS all said they would sign it and work on this project together. They just, at the present time, don't want to meet in the same room.
So
They don't want to meet with us separately.
is Hartwick Switzerland or are you Switzerland?
I'm sorry.
Is Hartwick Switzerland or are you Switzerland? Being the neutral party between those two. So I mean,
They're neutral. They really,
No, I mean, you're gonna be the intermediary. At one point in time, can you sit down, we get them, healed enough to where, it won't work if they don't at some point decide to work together, right? I mean, that's, I'm just concerned we set this up to fail if we can't, get them in a room and, put on boxing gloves, big ones, so they hurt each other and get it over with.
I think ultimately we'll work it out.
Okay.
It's just, I guess Michael Pentaris has had a long history with,
Well, people, obviously in the electronics business in Oneonta, people have been raiding people and stealing parts of companies for the last 50 years. So, yeah.
and I had a long meeting with him last week on this, and he's aware of that. I mean, because I said, what if Corning were to expand? What do you think they're going to take people from?
Yeah. Let me say, if you're going to stay in business, you got to let go of it, especially in a scarce employment opportunity for people. It's going to happen. People are going to, and it's that individual's freedom that allows them to move, but you can't make them indentured servants that they want to make. I mean, it's America. That's what goes on.
So what's interesting is,
So there's moving parts that have to come together.
Yeah.
Answers on rental,
But there's got to become
Yeah.
a respectful agreement between the two of them, or else it's going to be blow up every so often and do the same thing. I mean, I'm just concerned long-term, Michael's a gentleman, but he's also, gets offended a little too easily.
he does.
The game defines the game. So if what we're doing is competing for people, he needs to get in and compete. Oh. Anyway, he's a gentleman.
He was upset with Amphenol because they stole some of his.
I know people raid my people sometimes. But even my.
So related to those two companies, I did a presentation in Southern Tier 8 about what every IDA director gets up and explains what projects they're working on. Yesterday, I got an email from Beth Soliga, who works at Binghamton University. They were one of the recipients to receive the $500,000 grant to go to phase 1 for the Build Back Better America. And she reached out to me saying, can we have a discussion regarding IOXs and custom electronics, because that seems to fit into what they're doing at the Binghamton University. I'll have to talk to both Michael and Chad, because they really don't like it. They think that the battery person in Binghamton University has been working with us somewhat. They don't believe that his product is really gonna work. So.
okay,
But it's nice that Binghamton University reached out to us and says that they want, that they've been following what we've been doing here. Going to the director's report, really the only things we've requested from Corning, their ST360 reports that they're supposed to fill out with the state on sales tax. I haven't heard back from them. This is always a yearly thing where they don't submit them. We've talked about the Innovation Center. There's a series of the top 3 questions that we asked on the report. My understanding is that Springbrook's bids came in relatively good. They're looking at, we should be able to close on our project sometime probably in April. The Systematic Power Systems, I'm still waiting for documents from IOXs, and we do have a public hearing scheduled for February 9th at Town Hall. So, moving on that project. In anticipation of a pilot application from NextGen, we have under new business, under new business.
Yeah.
Yes, so
An example of a pilot structure for solar projects. We don't need to vote on it today, but it's in your package just so that everybody can start thinking about. That's a pilot that I think it's one of the other counties. It's not Montgomery, but the county next door, Herkimer County.
Herkimer, Madison,
It's basically the same project, and that's modeled off the NYSERDA standard recommended pilot for all solar projects.
That, is there a schedule on that? This is the 10 acres on the Hartwick property.
They would like, we expected their pilot application in January. I'll reach out to them again. They were having their attorneys look at it. I think they were trying to get around our fee because our fee is based on construction. The one that's done in other counties, they also charge the same pilot fee, 1%. So I don't know why they would argue that they don't want to pay for it.
They wanted to be up and running now by the early fall, right?
Leaves in.
Yeah. Oh, by late spring? Well, that's an aggressive schedule.
We did hold our public hearing on Zade Properties. We did close on the smaller amount, up to $100,000. And we did receive the check for that. State controller's audit. I got an email yesterday saying it's probably going to be released in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We did let Trinity Meats know that Empire State Development grants are open right now. We only do that because Mohawk Valley's regional office didn't tell us that. At another meeting I was at with the Binghamton office, they announced it. Like Mark, our region doesn't announce it. Megan's been in contact with our soccer club. I don't think they've heard back from them.
They were gonna discuss it at the board meeting. I'm not sure of the date.
What is the discussion in reference to exactly? They're going to continue or?
If they want to resign.
And then last, we did finish we had 4 proposals from Hartwick College students improving our social media and marketing. It's basically redoing our Facebook pages.
This is for local.
For a little bit. So Megan is doing a decision as to whether she wants to hire some of the interns to work on that. Because we don't have time.
No, I agree.
So that's kind of it with the projects committee for this month. Be happy to answer any more questions.
I guess for nothing else, project's gonna be considered done. All right. I don't need a motion to end our meeting, right?
Karen.
Okay.